Welcome to the State of the Market with knowledgeable realtor Scott Zaino. Sit back and relax as Scott lifts the curtain on Cape Cod's real estate stats. Buckle up and let's dive in. This is your monthly State of the Market report.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another State of the Market for the end of March 2026. Well, there's been a lot of things happening in the real estate world and throughout the country, right? But we've got some great information here for you today, so that you guys will make the smartest decisions or the best decisions and be the smartest ones at the closing table, right? Knowledge is power, and especially today, where there's so much information out there. We just love giving you guys these real estate sectors that we go through every month so that you can keep your finger on the pulse of the market. So if you're a seller or a buyer, or you're just curious on what the market's doing, this video is for you. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we're going to get right into the sectors. Okay. So the first sector that we're going to talk about is your average sale price, right? And the average sales price today, let's see here. I got it right here. That's the median. Okay. Average sales price for the end of March was 1,014,000, right? We've been teeter-tottering between the 1,950,000 range over the last few months, but again, we just broke 1,014,000 for the end of March. What was it in February, Scott? It was 910. So what does that tell us? It tells us the average sales price went up $100,000, right? It's crazy, but that's what the market is. That's what it's doing. We give you these numbers right from our local MLS, so they're accurate and on point. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next sector, which is our active listings, homes for sale. Okay, so this is the one that we've been working with for quite a number of years here. 619 properties for sale. Is that a lot or a little, Scott? That's very little. Um, that includes land and condominiums too, along with residential properties, and that's from P-Town to Plymouth. So you can see here, I expanded my chart, and you can see what's been happening here over the last 10 years or so. Um, the way these active listings have been. I mean, look at this one here, July of 2007, 6,000 houses for sale. Today we're at 600, right? Let's look back in 2021. Same thing, around 500. This is during COVID, 2021 right here. This is when it really dropped down. I would say right about there. 1,900 houses. That was February, March of 2020 with COVID. And ever since then, guys, it's been a downhill, bouncing on the bottom of the ocean floor, so to speak, right? Today we're sitting at 619 units. In February, that number was 578. So, we gained 40 something houses, it looks like. So not much. You sell a few, you add a few, you sell a few, you add a few. 619 properties. So is that a good time to sell? Yeah, absolutely. Less competition means more buyers looking at your property, more eyeballs, higher offers, quicker time frame. It all adds up. It all matters, right? So let's talk about this one here. Scott, if I list my house, how long should it take to sell? Right? Well, let's take a look. That would be your days on market. And your average days on market right now are, let's see, that's your median. Your average days is 65 days, so a little over a couple of months. That was 65 in March, 65 in February. So that's like a push. Okay. Now, are properties selling over the weekend? Absolutely. We've lost out on a couple this week. We went in strong, even over asking, still didn't get the properties. So here's the thing. When you're looking at anything probably a million or 900 or a million or under, if it's got the right price and it presents itself properly and it's promoted properly, there's a very, very good chance that property is going to go under contract, over the weekend or maybe within a couple of weeks. Some properties, if they're not priced correctly or they have underlying issues or whatever the case may be, those are taking longer. So the average is 65 days. Okay. Let's talk about months of supply. So the average months of supply tells us what kind of market we're in, right? We've talked about this before. 4 months of inventory or less is a seller's market. 5 to 6 months of inventory is a neutral market or a slack market where it's not a seller's market or a buyer's market. It's like a neutral market. And then anything over 6 months of inventory is a buyer's market, right? So even though it's still a seller's market, there are still some fantastic properties out there at great buys. It's just a matter of keep looking and turn over as many rocks as you can, and make sure that if you are looking for a piece of property, that you're on some type of a search, whether it be through my MLS or through one of the other third-party sites. But you need to be on some type of a search so that you get notified that these properties are coming on the market and look at them quickly and then make an appointment to go see them. And just keep your ears and eyes open. If you're at a party or if you're at a meeting and somebody selling a house, it might be the house for you. So you always have to be listening and seeing what's out there. So, but for today, your months of supply is 2.2. Now, this is in correlation to our inventory. So the last time it was a buyer's market, so to speak, was probably right there, December of 2016, 9 years ago. And then during COVID, 20 and 21, it was more of a balanced market, right? I remember it very well. Um, and then right as soon as COVID came, inventory just started going down. It's honestly, it's never recovered. Um, we just don't have any new construction around here. Very seldom do you see a new house go up. Yeah, you do once in a while here and there. You see more remodels or you see more add-ons or things like that. But the Cape is a special place because we don't have a lot of land, right? You go to some other parts of the country like Florida and maybe Georgia or Carolinas and Texas, they have plenty of land. So there's plenty of new construction. And incidentally, these stats that I'm giving you, these are local stats. Real estate is local to your area, right? So what I'm sharing with you today may not be necessarily true, for different parts of the country. So make sure that you're dialed into the area and watching videos like this and getting information like this that's local to the area that you want to move to or that you want to move out of, or just keep it local, right? So everything is local. Um, so let's take a look at your percentage to list price ratio. So what looks funny on this screen? Yeah, right here, these two. So these are the two unicorn years, right? During COVID. This was 21 and 22. So the average list price to sale list price ratio is 97.8. So if you list your house for $1 million, you're going to get 900, almost 980,000 for it, right? A property's going over asking. Yes, absolutely. I'm still living that today with some of my buyers. Are some of the properties going for under? Yes, those deals are out there. Those properties are out there. You just have to look and look at them thoroughly, and then do your homework, and then put an offer in. But for today, the list to sales price ratio is 97.8, and in February it was 96.9. So it went up about a percentage, which tells us that the market is gaining some traction and that the offers are coming in a little stronger than they were in February. And that makes perfectly good sense because there's more buyers out there. I went to a house the other day. There was cars lined up and down both sides of the street. You had to wait to get in the house. And of course, it went under contract. I'm not sure what it sold for, but there was plenty of people out, plenty of people looking, and I wasn't surprised. It was a lovely piece of property, and there was lots of people out. right? So your list to sell price ratio came in at 97.8. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just stop my screen share real quick. All right. So let's talk about interest rates because that's been a topic that has been on a lot of people's minds, especially what's going on in the Middle East and gas and oil prices and the war and things like that. So in February, we were sitting pretty good, right? We were sitting 5.8, 5.9, pretty good, right? Everybody's, oh, this is great. We're going to come down to 5.5. This is going to be perfect. And then what happened with the war, and the gas prices are now a dollar up a gallon more than they were last month, and etc. So let's talk about the interest rates. They have gone up a little bit, but if you can, please try not to let these little bump in the rates stop you from buying because you're going to have that mortgage for probably 30 years, right? You're most likely not going to keep that house for 30 years, right? Every 8 to 10 years, people usually sell or they move for one reason or another. Increase size, decrease size, job transfer, whatever the case may be. But it states that every 8 to 10 years, people move. So when the interest rates do get to a lower point, that would be a perfect time, to refinance. But for today, let's talk about the rates. Okay. So a 30-year fixed rate is 6.29, right? Last month, that was 5.7. A 15-year fixed rate today is 5.73, right? And last month it was 5.3, right? So they've gone up quarter, half point. 30-year FHA, Federal Housing Administration, it's 6.3? Last month it was 6.0, right? And then the 30-year VA, which is 5.96 today, was 5.4, which incidentally, they've made some changes to the VA loans. So they've loosened up some of the guidelines, right? On the peeling paint and the raw wood and the handrails and all that. So they've made they've loosened up some of the guidelines for the VA loans. So any of you veterans out there that want to capitalize on your VA loan, now might be the great time to do it. So let's talk about 30-year jumbo. So 30-year jumbo 6.2. Last month it was 6.2, so kind of a wash. That rates they vary. You got to do about $800,000 to do a jumbo loan, okay? And those vary by county, right? So once again, we want to thank you so much for tuning in to another State of the Market ending March 2026. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, give me a call, 508-566-0051. Shoot me an email at sjzano@gmail.com.